just after 6 o'clock in the morning. Many of you would be up and about, organizing to go to work, and students will be heading to school. And talking about students, we want to start the discussion this morning with the decision by the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association to call on its members to not mark SBAs for free. And to talk to us about that is the president of TTUTA, Mr. Lindsay Durai, and Mr. Marlon Seals, who is the first vice president of TTUTA. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So over the weekend, Mr. Durai, you called on teachers to not mark the SBAs for free. Tell us why that decision.
Well, this particular decision has been long in coming. It has taken much deliberations within the association and even on the level of the Caribbean Union of Teachers, where this is an issue which has been on the agenda of the CUT for a very long time. The marking of SBAs, TTUTA does not believe that that falls within the remit of the duties and responsibilities of a teacher. The CXE is an external examining body which is contracted by the Ministry of Education in all the Caribbean territories to examine and administer this particular examination. And teachers are in effect working for the CXE. Right now, teachers are paid by the CXE to mark the examination scripts for the various subjects that are examined. They are also paid to administer the practical or the oral examinations for language subjects such as Spanish and French. And TTUTA is saying the marking of SBA should be no different to the marking of the exam scripts or the conducting of the practical language subject areas.
So if they are paid, they will be willing to mark it?
Of course, yes.
So it is about, some would say, just the money and not looking at the student's future.
No, I disagree with that point, because as we said, historically, teachers will have been marking SBAs. SBAs would have started with CXE since 1979, and teachers, in an effort to assist the process, would have marked in the past. However, that task is becoming onerous, overbearing, and it has been highlighted, the fact that it is overbearing has been highlighted with the onset of math and English SBAs. That just highlighted the fact of the amount of work and the workload that this separate component would have added to the teacher's job spec. And remember that we are guided by job descriptions, which is an agreement between the association and the Ministry of Education.
The Minister of Education did condemn this because what I was reading is that this isn't the first time such a threat was made to not mark the SBAs. And the Minister did say that, you know, it's an injustice to the student population. I think that was back in 2013. Do you think that this Minister of Education would share the same view that this is an injustice to the children?
I'm sure that they would want to share that view, because if they can get teachers to mark SBAs for free, they would go along with that, and any position they take would be along those lines. I want to just also say that teachers, with respect to marking of SBAs, we see it as an added on extra responsibility which does not fall under the job description. Asking teachers to mark SBAs is no different to what happens to other professions like the policemen and the firemen. When there are sporting events or when there's a carnival fete and policemen and firemen are asked to work extra outside of their normal duties, they are compensated. They are paid privately by the fete promoters or the sporting promoters for their services. Teachers are being asked to do something outside of their normal roles and responsibilities, and we should treat them just as we treat other professions and pay them for this particular service.
And just to let the viewing public know that the SBAs for the academic year, for this academic year, has already been marked, and what we're talking about is SBAs for the 2018-2019 academic year.
Yes.
Yes. So, were you all able to have any discussions with the Ministry of Education? I know you say, Mr. Durai, that the SBAs would fall under CXE, but were you able to speak with the Minister of Education at any point in time about this concern that you all are having?
We have raised the issue with the Ministry of Education, more so with the Chief Education Officer, and the response was that when TTUTA is negotiating for salary increases for teachers, we should take up that matter there with the CPO. And of course, we disagree with that position because teachers are being asked to mark SPAs by the CXC, which has a contractual arrangement with the Ministry of Education to examine students in certain subject areas. So therefore, the issue is not negotiating with the CPO for payment to teachers. The issue really is that CXC must pay the teachers in the same manner that they pay the teachers to mark the exam scripts and to conduct the oral practical examinations for the languages areas.
Yeah. So, Mr. Seals, yes, the Ministry of Education you had a discussion with, but as it relates to CXC itself, have you all been part of any discussions with them since the teachers would be contracted by them?
Yes, the association was represented at a discussion with CXC. They are aware that the SBAs actually is the paper 3 of the examinations. So they agree that payment should be made to teachers for this extra duty. However, the discussion is who should make this payment. Some CXC is saying that we should take it up with the governments, national governments, and the government is admitting to the fact that this is in fact an extra duty, but they are claiming, the CEO claimed that the Ministry of Education don't have the capacity to pay, the infrastructure to pay, and we disagree with that because currently paper 1 and paper 2 of the same exam is being paid by CXC to private persons.
So probably there is need to have a meeting with the Ministry of Education and the CXC if you want to get this matter addressed, because if from September for the next academic year teachers wouldn't be able to or wouldn't mark the SBAs, then what is going to happen?
Well, you asked a very pertinent question, and a few weeks ago, the ministry would have issued a media release because they would have gotten wind of what was the discussion that was taking place within the association. And there was, in the news release, some attempt to create paranoia among students and parents with respect to students would be failing the examinations, that they would be sitting and it would affect their chances of going to university. And we disagree with that because if teachers do not mark the SPAs, the CXC and the Ministry of Education has to step in and put measures in place so that the SBAs can be marked. It's not any surprise why we chose this timing to make the announcement. We chose this timing so that the Ministry of Education, the CXC, can have ample notice from April to September when the new academic year starts so that they can put things in place. And this is not the first Caribbean island that has refused to mark SBAs. A couple years ago, in Barbados, the teachers took a similar action, and in Barbados, other persons were called upon to mark those SBAs.
So this is a way of putting pressure on them to act before it gets a bit too late?
Yes, well, actually, in the eyes of TTUTA, it's already too late because the persons who have been correcting math and English SBAs this year would have found it extremely difficult, because we are speaking of the average class size being 40 persons, and the average English teacher may have two upper school classes, 2 fourth forms, fourth form and a fifth form. So you can see there marking 80 plus SBAs in an academic cycle, how onerous that task could be.
When you talk about SBAs, that is for CSEC, but internal assessments for KEEP, that is also something that has to be addressed?
Yes.
Yes, the position that we hold would also encompass internal assessments for the CAPE students.
Yeah, because it would be a combination, because some teachers would teach CSEC and they would teach CAPE, so they would have.
Yeah.
So now you get an idea of how difficult the task has become.
The concern that many people have, as Mr. Durai said, was the students, and if they don't pass the SPA, if the teachers don't mark it, if the Ministry of Education doesn't step in and you know, it just goes by the side and that is it. What do we do?
Well, I do not envisage something like that would happen. The SBAs contribute approximately 20% of the final mark to the final grade of any particular subject. And the CXC, as would have happened in Barbados, would have to step in and ask or contract other persons, other teachers to mark these SBAs.
Yes, and remember the Caribbean Examination Council is under a contractual arrangement with the Ministry of Education of the various islands. They must fulfill their contractual arrangement. The teachers were not brought into that contractual arrangement, but the onus is on CXC, the Caribbean Examination Council, to make sure that all papers are marked and that persons are given their grades in a timely manner.
Because from my discussions with teachers about this SBA matter, you know, it does take a lot of their time, and then there's always the issue of violence in schools among students, and you know, there was a talk that teachers can you know, supervise children at some point in time. So it is a lot of work expected of the teachers.
Yes, January to March, April of every year is particularly very onerous and difficult for teachers because they have the responsibility of dealing with the SBAs, marking of the SBAs, and also performing their normal teaching duties to their other classes. So what happens is that many teachers are unable to mark these SBAs at school because the time doesn't allow. And what happens, they have to now take these SBAs to their homes, and they have to mark the SBAs on their own personal time.
But Mr. Sewells, I have to ask, you know, people are always talking about the high level of absenteeism from teachers in schools. And that is something that I just wanted to address while we're on this matter about the workload of teachers. High absenteeism, is that still a problem? Do you all see it being a problem?
The question that I will ask is, what do you mean by high absenteeism? Because teachers are, within their terms and conditions, they are allotted certain number of days and for urgent personal business. So but there are systems within the schools, such as the supervision of classes, clinical supervision, etc., that will deal with when a teacher doesn't appear for duty.
If I could just add, I would disagree with your statement that there is high absenteeism of teachers. We have to understand that teachers have leave allocated to them in terms of occasional and sick leave. That does not mean that they will abuse the leave. But if you look at occasional leave, our systems in our country does not allow for certain services to be had via online or outside of normal working hours. For example, in some developed countries, you can renew your driver's license without having to go in physically during working hours, or even in Trinidad, if you have to get a job letter from the Ministry of Education, you need to take at least 2 days off from work, depending on where you work and where you live. One to go and make the application in Port of Spain, and another day to go and collect the job letter. And sometimes when the teacher goes to collect the job letter, it's not ready, so they have to come back a third day. So all those things contribute to teachers being out of the classroom.
So it's not necessarily that they just want to stay home. You know, they have things to do as well.
Yeah.
So I need to ask, you know, with these concerns being raised with the SBAs and teachers not being paid for it, do you think it's time for us to change the way we test children in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the association maintains the fact that the SBA component is an important component. We applaud the fact that there isn't one exam, a one-off exam. So if you are ill on the day, for instance, you automatically fail because this is your one shot. Because we are aware that some persons aren't good at exams, on the day exams, the pressure of the day. So, and we advocate the fact that we should test persons differently, give them multiple ways of doing of showing their excellence and their understanding of a subject. So we maintain, or we applaud the fact that it's not one shot exam, but really there are multiple ways, multiple types of assessment. So we maintain that this should in fact stay.
Yeah, and it can be beneficial to the students in the long run because, as you mentioned, the exam pressure is something that is real. People who do good at exams, I applaud them because I'm not good at doing final exams at all. As I was telling you all, you know, it's always so much easier and relaxed when you're able to work on your time, and these things would help and help the students develop, and they might learn something different as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Duda, before we go, I want to get some of your closing comments as it relates to this matter.
Well, I want to say that TTUTA is not against the SBAs, as Mr. Seatus have just mentioned. There are some educational benefits to be derived from the completion of SBAs. However, teachers have been taken advantage for far too long with respect to the marking of SBAs. As I said on Saturday at our 39th anniversary celebrations, while slavery has been abolished since 1834, asking teachers to mark SBAs without remunerating them is like modern-day slavery. The Ministry of Education and the CXC must come together and realize that teachers have to be remunerated if they are to mark SBAs from 2018-2019.
And this is a serious threat, Mr. Seal. Serious.
This is a serious promise. We are not threatening anything. This is a serious promise that teachers come the academic year 2018-2019, we will not be marking SBA.
Gentlemen, I would like to thank you both for coming in and talking with us about this call by TTUTA to its members to not mark the SBAs for the next academic year. President of TTUTA, Mr. Lindsay Durai, and Mr. Marlon Seals, First Vice President, thank you all for making the journey into Port of Spain this morning to talk to us about the situation.